Hey, what's good, everybody? It's me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, and you're watching Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. And joining me, as always, is my co-host from the Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks podcast, Trav the Trash Man Martin. How you doing today, bro?
Hey, that is exactly where you can find your boy every Tuesday.
Hey, I like that. I like that. And today we are reviewing episode 4 of American Horror Story double feature, Blood Buffet. So before we get into today's review, make sure that you like this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you hit that bell button so that way you're always notified when we have new content here on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks.
Hey, and as D always says, baby, podcast in the description. Like, follow, subscribe, baby.
Yeah, man. So let's go ahead and get into this. So like I said, it's episode 4, Blood Buffet. And this episode is actually a flashback episode that shows what happened 5 years prior to everything that's going on right now in Providence town. And we see the chemist. She ends up moving to the town. The town it's full of people. It's like a quiet town. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's still similar to how it is now, except that there aren't monsters running around in this town.
And a bunch of murders.
And a bunch of murders. That's the only thing that's not going on. But when the chemist, when she moves there, she ends up meeting Mikey. And now, Trav, I don't know if they had sex or not. I know they were at her place.
I don't know if they had sex, but he pleased her in some fashion and made her get off. I don't know if he just went down on her.
Yeah, because we don't know. I mean, for all we know, it's like she just invited him back to her place.
Oh, no, we know he asked for his money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how we know. That's how we know.
You know, pretty much at the start of episode 2, we see that she works on the pill, that she used to work for the government and whatnot. And what she wants Mikey to do is to bring her test subjects, so that way that she can do the experiment with the pill, the muse, as everybody calls it now. And you know, Mikey, he starts bringing people to her. The first person he brings is one of his friends, and his friend, like, he's starting to mutate because he's not as talented as he thought that he was. And his friend is the first monster that we see in the first episode,
the Pale Man.
The Pale Man. Now, Trav, I want to ask you, because we see, you know, he ends up killing the first person, his first victim, in that graveyard. And it seems like the graveyard is a place that I guess, you know, he hung out all the time, I guess, for inspiration or whatnot. So do you think that all of the other pale people, do you think that they do something similar where they hang out, kind of like a zombie, for example? Like,
well, most of the time you saw him in the streets. You know, out there with Black Lightning, you know, he was out in the streets.
Here we go. Well, see, I think the only reason why we saw him in the streets that one time was because he had got the scent of, you know, the
Fresh Blood, the little girl.
Yeah, Alma. That, I think that was the reason why we saw him in the streets. But I mean, it's pretty interesting because it's like, you know, we see him in the graveyard on the first episode, and then we see him in the graveyard in this episode. But then we also find out more about Belle, and she's a writer, but it's just like what she's written 6 books now, and like they've all flopped, or she's written a certain amount of books, but I think the newest book that she had written, only 6 people bought it. She's in a horrible relationship with her husband, and
yeah, he was an asshole, bro.
He was like, bro, I felt really bad for her, man, because it's just like, you see, like, she's just this sweet old lady, and she wants to accomplish her dreams and whatnot, and then her husband is just like, I'm tired of this, you know, we put all this money into this, and, you know, I'm not trying to do this. Like, that's pretty much the attitude that he had, and then he cheated on her. And like, bro,
that whole scene was funny though, bro.
It was wild. Like, I was so happy when, you know, she met Mikey, and she was just like, you know, I want to take some drugs. And then she took some drugs.
Dancing.
She was having a good time. And then she was just like, all right, you know what? Give me the pill. And after she took that pill, remember, she wrote the book, and then her husband's just like, there's no way you wrote this. This is too good. I was just like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, who else do you know that we've seen in a movie or TV show where it's like the husband is just a complete asshole, man? And
enough.
Yeah, it has been. But I'm really trying to like pinpoint. I know we've seen it recently where it's like somebody was just a straight ass to their woman. And I mean, I know that's usually the story with Tyler Perry films,
right?
You know what I'm saying? The husband is usually always a dark-skinned, bald black guy, and he's always abusive or he's an asshole to his wife. But Belle, she ends up killing him, and she becomes successful. Like she said, like her books had been turned into movies and whatnot, and a couple of years go by, and she ends up meeting Austin. And Austin, he's lip syncing and drag. He was up there on stage performing.
That was wild, bro.
Yeah, it was, bro. They said he sucked. Like the other drag queens, like they were saying that he was garbage. They made fun of him, and Belle, she saw something in him. She said, and like she talked with him, and he was just like, I've done stuff before, but it's not clicking. It's not working for me, and. She gave him the pill, and bam, like it's like that's how we got Belle and Austin where they are in life now. Like they're both successful. Something else that I wanted to touch on too was with Mickey, how the chemist, she wanted to give him the pill, and he just kept doubting himself. But eventually, as we see now, like he did finally take the pill. And he's writing out stuff. He got the Speed Racer novel that he wrote. But all in all, man, I thought that this was a really good episode. Like the stuff with Belle was really sad. Like, what was your take on everything, Trav?
Yeah. When they kicked in the drag queen house door, and they kill people, and the dude ran out the back, right? The chubby drag queen. They ran in the cemetery, and it's. Who runs from a murderer and goes to the cemetery? Is what I want to know. And what happened? That pale man got her.
Pale man came and got him. And bro, like also too, like just seeing his transformation. Like he was going to the chemist's house, and he was just like, I'm vegan, I'm a Buddhist, like I'm very peaceful. And she was just like, none of that matters now. Like
not no more.
And she was talking about how much money she's gonna make because everybody's gonna come to this town, and it's just like they are gonna think that they're gonna be the next successful person. And that's how the history of Providence town, where it's just like people, they go to the town and then they leave and then they become successful. But it's only been a few people though. And I can't remember what Billy Lord's character's name was, but remember, it's like we see she works at the thrift store, and she ends up giving the pale man his outfit, and
right.
And then when her and Belle meet each other, and it's just like you find out that she's a dentist, and she does tattoos and stuff. So yeah, like I said, really good episode. Trav, final thoughts, rating for the episode?
Yeah, man. They added another episode to. I don't know how many episodes these whole thing is supposed to be, because now they're saying that. Remember, it's supposed to be. I read it was 5 and 5.
It looks like it's gonna be 6.
But dude, they could add a 7th. Who knows?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I don't know what the real number of. I thought they were gonna wrap it up next week, but I don't think that's the case. So, yeah, I don't know, man. But this episode was great, dude. All these episodes have been great. Much better than American Horror Stories. Not that I disliked Horror Stories, but this is, their bread and butter. And I like this a lot more than last season.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I give this episode, I think I've pretty much given every episode an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. So, You're going to stick with the high number. Yeah, for me, I'm giving this episode a 9 out of 10. I loved how they showed how the pill came to town and the chemist and whatnot. And I do think once we get to Death Valley, that that I think what's going on is that the pills, like she's used something like alien DNA or alien brain or something. Oh, you think they're gonna tie in?
Of course, because I mean, like, look at the image on the screen. I mean, we see the pale man at the bottom and the alien at the top. I just feel like that because they always say that aliens, like, they're so much more advanced than humans and whatnot, maybe whatever DNA that they have, like, maybe it helps unlock something inside your head. And then also too, when she talked about how at first they tested it on apes, and like there were apes that were intelligent, bro, I'm hoping that we see ape that's talking. Like I want to see Gorilla Grodd. You know what I'm saying? Like
Planet of the Apes, right?
Yeah, I want to see the Planet of the Apes. I want to see the apes talking. I want to see them writing novels and all that stuff, man. But yeah, really good episode. Like I said earlier in the review, I felt really bad for Belle when I was watching her backstory because, like, bro, like she was just so sweet, and you know, to see the badass that she becomes, like how she is now, she's nothing compared to how she was when we first were introduced to her in this episode.
For sure.
So yeah, like I said, I give it a 9 out of 10. Let us know in the comments what you thought about this week's episode. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What are you hoping to see next? Because like I said, this was a really good episode to lead into next week's episode when Belle and Austin try to take down everybody at the Gardner house. So yeah, we're going to see. So Trav, let them know where they can find you at in social media land.
Hey, that's right. You know, you can find your boy on the Instagram at ZK Audio. You can find me on the Twitter at TravioSZK. And where they going to find podcast #1 hero at?
You can find me, your hero, Benjamin Banks, at KingBenji_Banks on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at Benjamin Banks. I should be the first person to pop up. If not, then I need to contact Mr. Zuckerberg. Thank you again for watching our video review for this week's episode. Make sure you check out some more of our reviews, reaction videos, and interviews that we do have here on the channel. Podcast with brand new episodes every Tuesday, and the video of that episode here on YouTube that Friday. Like I always say, keep that pinky up, stay positive. We'll see you next time on Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Peace.
Thanks again, everybody, for watching another episode of Leveling Up with Benjamin Banks. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe to the channel. Podcast, we got that too. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and hit that bell for further episodes and notifications. Thanks a lot to our patrons. And if you don't mind, join the Patreon. We'll be having new specials coming up soon.